Welcome back to my channel. I am so excited to film today. I am just feeling refreshed, obviously, because I haven't been here in a very long time. Many of you are probably wondering where your girl was. I wasn't in the Cayman Islands. I wasn't in south of France, girl. I was at home chilling. I would say like a villain, but I'm going to say like a Christian girl. I was at home. I was just minding my business, drinking my water, and spending time with God. And I feel like we need to do that sometimes. And so I'm really excited to film this video and the other videos I'm filming today because I get to just sit and like update you guys and give you the 411 on your girl. No, I'm not pregnant. I'm pregnant with something, but it ain't a baby. Okay, I am definitely in labor. I'm so excited. And I am just like, okay, let's just get into this. So this is obviously a life update. Let's start with why I haven't posted in like 3-4 weeks. So the main reason I stopped posting was because if you watched the last video I uploaded before this one, I was sick. My voice was leaving my body, okay? It was crazy. There was a whole little plague going on in my house. Everybody was sick. The girls got sick. I got sick. Shooter was sick, but Shooter had left. And, sorry, I said that like he left. Girl, he was in Vancouver for work. Shooter had left. We also had got pink eye. And so the thing about pink eye is, one, after it leaves, it can come back. But two, pink eye can last anywhere from 4 days to 2 weeks. Because I work with makeup, I didn't want to contaminate anything that I had, and I wasn't sure if I had already contaminated anything because I wasn't sure if the bacteria was already in my eye when I had done my last video. So I threw out those lashes, I threw out the mascara, and anything that I used around my eye I threw out. And I just decided for 2 weeks, I felt like God was calling me to rest and just chill out, not worry about working or anything, just spend time with him, spend time with my kids, and spend time doing something else, which I'm going to touch on in a minute. So that is basically what was happening in the last 3 weeks. If you're wondering where my Salem necklace is, I know at least one person gonna ask. It broke. Belden snatched it, girl. Actually, I'm not really sure if she snatched it, but I saw it on the kitchen floor and it was snapped in two, and I was like, what? When did this happen? So I have to get it fixed. Anyway, neither here nor there. The last 3 weeks have been crazy. And not only that, the last 3 weeks, on top of us being sick and me not being able to film because I was sick, God said, lay in your bed, girl. God said, spend some time with me. You don't need to be doing all this extra stuff. I will provide while you are resting. And he surely did. And glory be to God. Honestly, this whole journey with God has been so eye-opening and refreshing and stressful, girl. But worth it. God was calling me to a place of rest because I'm the type of person that's just on go all the time. And when you don't stop when he wants you to, he will literally make you stop. Sometimes it's a cold or the flu or pink eye, and other times you get fired from your job. When stuff like that happens, you have to consider it as a promotion from God. And so that's basically where I was in the last 3 weeks. And then I knew that there further rest needed to be had when my eye wasn't pink anymore, but my mom had to leave town for my sister's daughter's christening. So when my mom left, obviously I was like, okay, I'm just going to keep resting. I'm not even going to look at my camera or my equipment. I'm just going to spend my time with Jesus, girl. And that's what I did. And so a lot of you might be in this place too. And so I wanted to talk to you guys today, not just about my life, but how to get a good spiritual balance, because a lot of people don't really know, how do I spend time with God, or how much time is enough time with God? And there's no real answer to that. You can spend too little time with him, but there's no such thing as spending too much time with him. And so I wanted to give you guys insight on how to get a good spiritual balance. And when you do this, you will see just how ordered your steps are. When you spend time with God, he will give you so much clarity, and he will literally put a blessing on your life that don't make sense. So I wanted to touch on how we spend our time is so critical. And I remember in 2015 when I made my first ever vision board, I put time management on there. And I never really learned how to execute time management properly. And now throw kids into the mix in 2020, girl. And I really have to figure out how to manage my time effectively. So obviously this all started back in October when I decided to go on a little bit of a hiatus. I got rid of social media, blah, 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 blah. A lot of us spend too much time on social media. You might not be lusting after the things you see, but you're bored, so you scroll. And social media takes up such a large chunk of time of the day if you allow it to. Now you can use it and put a time limit on it, but if you decide to push the button that says ignore time limit, I don't know if that's what the button says, but if you decide to do that, then you just end up staying on social media for countless hours. I used to stay on Instagram scrolling for hours upon hours, and there's literally nothing to do. You're just scrolling, looking at pictures for why, reading captions, leaving funny comments. And so because we're in a new season in our life, well, I am, child. I don't know about y'all, but this season of my life is about to be poppin'. So, because I'm in a new season in my life, I knew that I could not take things from my last season into my current season. And that started with bad time management. We have to realize that what we do with our time is critical to who we are in Christ, and what we do is a part of that. We have to realize it's where we're going and who we are becoming in him so that we can better manage our time. I know I'm not about to be an Instagram developer, okay? I'm not going to be developing apps. Well, I don't know. Maybe I will one day. But, I'm not about to be developing apps, so there's no need for me to spend so much time on Instagram. I'm not studying the Instagram algorithm. I'm not studying anything when I am on Instagram. I'm literally just using my free time, which does not belong to me, to scroll for no reason. So when you key into what you're doing that wastes time, because the fact of the matter is we all got the same 24 hours, okay? What you do with your 24 hours is critical into how successful you will be in life, and also in how you will manage your time. And there's not a single person in this world that is successful that has bad time management, okay? So that's your first clue into, am I wasting time? What can I do to not waste time? Of course, we all know what time is, but if you don't know what time is, understanding what time is very necessary if you want to better your time management. And so for me personally, I know that no matter what I choose to do in life, if I'm not spending an ample amount of time with God, I will not be successful in any area. Success comes only from God and the work you put in. But you have to be in partnership with God in order to have that success in the area that you're looking to have success in. The area that you're looking to have success in has to be something that God placed inside of you. It cannot be your own desire, so to speak. But sometimes your desire is what God has in store for you, or is that plan, and he will show you. So it's not like you're just out here lost in the sauce, girl. He will literally place something that inside you that you just can't seem to let go of, and once you are aligned with it, he will make it happen for you. When you are spending time with God, you have to learn to trust him and trust his processes and his ways, because they're not necessarily going to be comfortable for you, especially in the beginning stages. Once you throw your hands up and say, I can't do this by myself anymore, or I can't do this, and you look to God for help, he's going to start rearranging things in your life and shaking some things in and shaking some things out that do not need to be there. And you have to just stay in alignment. Is it going to get hard? Is it going to get tough? Yeah, probably. But Jesus suffered, and so can you for a little bit. I mean, you ain't got a pierce in your side now, girl. But you have to know that success doesn't come easy. You know, you have to go through some things, and you gotta go to war with some things, but you have to go into those wars knowing that because God is with you, you have already won. That's the mindset you have to be having. You have to realize that God is trying to do something through you so that he can do something for you. He's always trying to prosper us, never trying to harm us. And so sometimes you'll be in a season where it feels like harm. Feels like you're in harm's way. But when God is with you, you cannot be harmed. No weapon formed against you will prosper. Period. Poo. Okay? And that's what you have to keep in mind. And weapons are not weapons of mass destruction. Weapons are simple things like your doubt or the things that are going on in your mind. You can literally have weapons against yourself. Obviously, those weapons come from the enemy, but it's literally you or people around you or whatever the case may be. But just know that even when those weapons form, they will not be prosperous. And so, that being said, the reason that we end up in different wars is so that we will pray and so that we will worship. And praying and worshiping God is literally the answer to your problems. So even when things don't look like they're going to work out in your favor, keep praying. Be persistent. Keep praying and know and trust that whatever you're going through is a whole lie. Just know that you are not your circumstances. What you're going through is temporary. It's not going to be a forever thing. That's what you have to remember. And when you feel like, oh my gosh, when is this gonna end? You have to realize that all you have to do is look back and be like, what was I going through before that God delivered me from? What was I going through in 2014 that God said, nope, and picked me up and put me somewhere else? You have to just think back on what he's already done for you and hold tight to that to know that he will deliver you again. So I want to talk to you guys about how I balance my time with God, or balance my spiritual time and my life in general, because I spend pretty much all day with Jesus. Okay, that is my ride or die. Okay, that's my ride or rise. Oh, girl. That's a word in itself, child. My daily routine persists of waking up, praying, doing devotion, and that's how I start every single morning. I do not let a morning go past without doing this. When I do, sometimes if I jump out of bed and don't really go into the day how I'm supposed to go into the day, I tend to not be grounded, which it throws me off course. Like today was one of those days where I jumped out of bed to do something and then I didn't end up getting to have my devotion time. So it's okay if it happens every once in a while, but in order to be grounded and to delight yourself in the Lord, you have to wake up, pray, give thanks, and either read your Bible, read a Bible plan or 2 or 3, and also get a devotional book. Spend time with God that way and meditate on that word. Now, sometimes if you have a really busy life, or you feel like you can't spend time with God, but you're making an excuse, because if that is the case and you had 11 kids, okay, and you're like, I don't have time, like I only have 15 minutes every morning, wake up earlier than your house. And I can't stress this enough. Wake up earlier than your house, have that peace, that quiet, that stillness, and do your devotion. And even if you wake up, say, 5 o'clock in the morning to do this, you can go back to sleep. And then when you wake up again, just do a quick prayer, say your thank yous, thank you for all the things that you do for me, that you're doing for me, that you've done for me. Thank you for my extremities. Thank you for my fingers and my toes, my eyesight, my hearing, my ability to walk and talk. All those things that we take for granted on a daily basis, because they're those mercies that are given to us. And I think it's really important to acknowledge those things, because God didn't have to give you 2 legs. He didn't have to give you the functions of your body that you have, but he did, and he does continue to every single morning. There's people that didn't get that blessing, but they got a different blessing. And so you have to be thankful for those things. So you can either wake up earlier, or you can do it in your car on your way to work, where you're praying and spending time with God that way. Listening to the Bible in the audio version, or listening to a sermon. That is how you can spend your time, or start to spend time with God, and start to create a spiritual balance for yourself. Now, once my morning is out the way, once my daily devotion is out the way, that's when I head into the other stuff. This routine I started before I kind of went on a little bit of a hiatus, but while my husband was out of the province and I was on rest or sabbatical, while I was doing that, this is when I really picked up the routine and perfected it and tweaked it to how I need it to be, so that I feel comfortable every single day. The next portion of my day really revolves around my kids. They're up, they are playing, they're watching TV, they're doing whatever they want to do, they're wrecking my house. That is the next portion of my day. And so there's times when I want to spend time with God, but he says, it's okay, just be with your kids, okay? I know, I gave them to you. Enjoy them. Sometimes my children will allow me to read my Bible and get into the Word of God while they're there, but other times they want me to play with them or do what they're doing. And so when it's like that, then I just do what they're doing. But if they give me 20 minutes, I will literally just pick up my phone and read my Bible. Or if they're really, really good, I will watch a sermon on the iPad. The other thing that I do is study. And you're probably like, study? Study what? Newsflash, your girl is about to be a student again, and I cannot wait. I'm going back to school, which is so crazy because a few videos ago I was talking about I'm so happy about a school, blah, blah, blah. Well, your girl is going back to school, and I cannot wait to share that journey with you. I'm not telling you for what yet, but you will learn in due time. I'm so excited. While I'm waiting for my classes to start, I've been studying my field. And so this is what God has literally centered my days around. If I'm not reading my Bible, reading devotional stuff, or watching a sermon, and taking notes actually while I watch a sermon, I'm studying the field that I'm about to enter into. And it's really important to always try to study your field, even if you're already in it. I feel like things are always changing and evolving, and there's always new skill sets to be had or learned. And so even if you were to become a teacher in that field, I feel like you should always still be ready to be a student. And so before I even get to school, I am studying like crazy. I'm studying and absorbing the knowledge so that I am ready before I even get started, I'll stay ready so I ain't got to get ready, basically, okay? So that's the second part of my day, studying. Third part of my day is my favorite part, where I put my kids to nap. So once my children are sleeping, this is the best time of the day. It's quiet. Ain't nobody here to bother me or bug me. My husband's at work. I ain't got to worry about none of that. I put the kids to sleep. And that gives me anywhere between an hour and a half on a bad day and 2 hours to sometimes 2.5 hours. I usually don't let them sleep past 2 hours, but girl, if I need them to sleep, they're going to sleep. Once I put the kids to nap, I take this as a time to do a bunch of things, okay? And it is amazing how many things you can get done when, one, your brain is not being consumed by Instagram, and two, or social media, and two, when you have devoted time to spending with God. That was a weird sentence, forgive me. So once they're sleeping and it's actually super duper quiet, this is when I can watch a sermon and take notes. Generally, in the first part of my day, I prefer to study then, because if I try to write while the girls are around, they're always trying to take my pen or take my notebook, and they don't really let me get the writing thing out. So I prefer to watch a sermon when they're napping so that I can really hear what God is saying through his people. Whip out my notebook, I write the date, I write the time, I write what the sermon is called, and I just take notes throughout the sermon. I write down the Bible, scriptures. And so the point of doing this, taking notes while watching these sermons, is so that one, I can continue to be grounded and continue to spend time with God, but two, so that one day I can look back and be like, okay, this sermon was about this Bible scripture is attached to this sermon, and it just will always be giving me revelation when I'm going through different things in life. A lot of the time, sermons are usually between 35 minutes to over an hour. And so sometimes if it's a really long sermon, I will put it on. I'll be cleaning my house and listening and remembering things. And then once I'm done cleaning, I will sit down, pause it, write down everything that I absorbed while I was cleaning, and then unpause it and finish taking my notes. I have to do it like this because if I sit there and just watch the sermon and start taking my notes, too much time might go by and the girls might wake up and then I didn't clean the house. It's all really in God's hands. Like, God really just tells me, okay, you're gonna have this amount of time to wash the dishes, load up the dishwasher, clean the living room, sweep, mop, blah, 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 like all those things. You're gonna have that time, but I need you to hear this word as well. So do it this way. So that is the third part of my day. And by the time the girls wake up, it's usually 6 o'clock. I try to squeeze dinner in the time that they are sleeping as well. So I usually plan ahead for dinner like the day before so that I can season things or like organize so that it's easier for me to do it, or I cook enough so that there's leftovers for the next day. And so things seem to go a lot smoother with God on my side. And I just feel like my day is so much more structured now than it's ever been in my whole life. And so that's the third part of my day. The third part of my day when the girls are sleeping is spending more time with God, cleaning the house, and taking notes. And cleanliness is next to godliness, okay? So if you are unorganized, and I've pretty much been unorganized my whole life, but once you have kids, you don't have time for that. You have to be organized. God has blessed me so that I can balance my whole entire day and spend time with him and not feel like I'm not spending enough time with him, because I've literally circled my whole life around him, what he wants for me, and instead of asking him to bless what I want, I've decided to bless what he wants for me. Hallelujah. So the last part of my day when the girls wake up is, of course, feed them, and this is when I go back to studying. So you're probably like, okay, Bo, I get it. You want to be successful in whatever you're going to do, but where is your free time? Girl, what free time? I ain't got free time. No, I'm kidding. I'm going to get into that in a second. It's really important to study the field of work that you're entering or already in. Master the craft. And if you show God how faithful of a servant you are to him, he will be sure to bless every and any avenue that he sends you to. God wants for us to be prosperous because he wants us to turn around and say, look at what God did in my life. To God be the glory. That's what God wants from us. And I have no problem doing it. And so when you guys see the next things that are going on, you're going to be like, wow, like, I can't believe I said Jesus didn't exist. Jesus is real. I know none of you watching this said that. But there are people that obviously have a lot of doubt about God, and I'm a living testimony. I'm a living witness that he is real and he will do things for you if you delight yourself in him. And right now that's what's happening for me, and I'm so excited for this new chapter in my life, because honestly, I am nothing without him. I could do nothing without him. He's always been the one that has put me wherever he needed me to be, and I just went with it. And now that I'm so aware of his presence in my life, I can't deny it. I can't take ownership. I can't take credit. And when he promotes me, I'm all here for it. It gets crazy before he promotes you, so just be aware, child. It's been crazy, okay? But I'm okay with it because all things work together for our good, and I couldn't do any of the things that I will be doing without God on my side. I can't do any of the things that I've already done if God wasn't on my side. And I just want to express how much love he has for us, because even when I was not living in my purpose, even when I was not doing what he had called me to this earth to do, nothing before it's time, he still was with me. When I was sinning, girl, he was right there with me with his arms folded, shaking his head. And I'm just so grateful that that's the kind of God I serve, because he took this little poor girl from Toronto and changed my life forever. And I'm so grateful to God for that. And I want to encourage you guys to keep holding on, keep believing him, because my God, I don't know about your God, but my God is a God of miracles, okay? Signs and wonders. And what he's done in my life, what he's doing in my life right now is just beyond me. And I just beyond me. And I don't know what to tell y'all, but that I'm so thankful and grateful to him for stepping in when he did to redirect my path. Two things that I want to mention. And one of those things is the young lady that fell off the stripper pole and broke her face. Like, I don't know if you guys watched her Wendy interview, but I hadn't seen the Wendy interview. I was on Instagram and I saw that she received $10,000 from Wendy, and then I went to go watch her interview, but I had commented on the post because there was a lot of negative comments on the post. And so I was like, people are such haters. And so my comment was, for all we know, she could have been praying for a way out of the strip club, and now she has a way, period. Like, and that was my comment. And so I hadn't seen the interview just yet. And so after I had commented that, I went to find the interview on YouTube. And that's exactly what the girl said. She said, I was praying for a long time to get out of the strip club. I just wanted to finish cosmetology school. That's all. And this happened. And now she has basically had a way to start her life. You see, when you pray, when you ask God to deliver you, he will deliver you. It might not seem that way. The girl's face done broke, but she still looks good. Like, you can't tell that her face was broken. So you have to trust God and his processes, because she didn't die when she fell 2 stories. She lived, and she declared that it was God that provided a way out of no way. She didn't know how she was going to get out the strip club. She was just going to keep stripping until she saved enough money, but she probably couldn't really save. And so now she had a GoFundMe that went to over $30,000, I think. And then on top of that, she got another $10,000 from Wendy. She basically gets to restart her whole life. And when she's done cosmetology school, obviously she's going to be an entrepreneur. We have to look at her situation and know that the same God that brought her up out of that strip club, and she said she ain't never going back because she knows that this is an act of God, even though it doesn't seem like it. And obviously God did not physically harm the girl. Like, he did not make it so that she would fall off of the pole. God will allow us to go through hard times so that he could turn things around. See, if she wasn't praying to come out that strip club, she would still be up on the damn pole. But she was praying to get out of the strip club. Now she's out the strip club and she's never going back. And this is not something that has to be explained to somebody that's a believer. Like, I'll have to explain this, but there's people that will try to trip you up and be like, it was evil for her to fall off the pole. So are you saying God does evil? Like, no. God didn't send her to the strip club. She brought herself there. All he did was give her a way out of the strip club. And that's what we have to recognize. Because the enemy probably wanted her to fall off of that pole and die. Okay? Break her neck or something. Break her spine. Like, whatever. The enemy's plan was probably for that to happen. But God said, because that girl right there has been praying to me, and she's going to say that this was me. She's not dead. She has a testimony now, you know? Anyway, that's that. And so you have to know that when his hand is on your life, even when things get bad, some people are diagnosed with cancer and they're like, I don't accept that, because the God I serve said this cancer is going to leave up out my body and y'all ain't going to understand it. And that's the kind of faith you have to have. And when his hand is over your life, you will know that his hand is over your life, because there's things that you will go through that most people will lose their mind over, kill themselves sometimes. Like, there's things that you will go through and you will come up out of, and the only way you can come up out of those things is if God's hand is over your life. Once the fourth part of my day is over, the studying aspect of it, then it is spending more time with my kids, dinner, bath time. I know I already said dinner. And then I have a little bit of free time. In my free time, I just like to chill. Like, I do whatever. Depends on if my husband's home or not. If my husband's home and he wants to watch a show with me, we'll watch a show. Sometimes I watch shows by myself. But I spend enough time with God that I don't get a sense of guilt when I decide to take maybe an hour or two for myself to watch a show or play a game on my iPad. Like, just stuff like that. I try to spend most of my time with God and studying in my field so that at the end of the night, when it's time to wind down, I don't feel guilty. If this was an old season in my life, I would probably spend ridiculous amounts of time binge watching certain shows. And then after I finished binge watching a show, I would just binge watch another show and binge watch another show, because I was considering my free time, because I felt like I had already established my career and I was in a limit thinking place, or I was thinking in a place of limitation. So I never realized how much more was in store for my life. And so I would just like, okay, this is it. Thanks, God, you know, but now that I know better, I do better. And so, of course, after free time, this is the best time of the night. And this means I get to put my kids back to sleep. I usually put them down around 10 o'clock. And once they are sleeping, this is when I journal. I write about my day. I write about my feelings. I write about my goals, my dreams. I write about just different things going on in my life. And I also go back to watching sermons, taking notes. And then I pray, and then I sleep. And that is basically how I've structured my 24 hours for now. And then I wake up and I repeat that thing. So that's how I structure my day. That's how I have a good spiritual balance. That's how I'm always spending time with God, even though I have life going on. I'm never going to not have time for God at any point in my life for the rest of my life, because I spent a lot of my last season without spending time with God, even though he was always right there with me. He was like just waiting on me. You got to choose what you want to do, how you want to spend your time, and dedicate your time to things that matter. Dedicate your time to things that matter, that please God, and allow him to do the rest of the work, because the more time you spend with him is the more time he'll spend prospering you. And so that's just the message I wanted to get out today. That's why I have not been uploading, because God said, you won't have to. He said I ain't have to, so I said, okay, God, just make sure my bills are paid, please, thanks. And I don't have any arguments with you. So he told me I'm going back to school, and you guys are going to see all of that. I don't know how much I'm going to be uploading at this point, but I am filming 2 more videos after this video. So y'all got 3 videos for the next little bit, okay? I don't know how frequently I'm going to be back, but once I start school, I probably will not have a lot of time to film unless God says that I'm supposed to show you guys what's going on at school, and then I will do that. I'm super duper excited. Be excited for me too, and to God be the glory. I love you all so much. God bless you. I'm still praying for you guys, so if you guys have prayer requests, just leave them in the comment section below. I'm in agreement with you. Partner with God and see what he does for you, because I tell you, y'all know I was not trying to go back to school. I said, nope, school, what's that? I'm not in the school thing. But now I'm like, God has put it in me to be excited about going to school. I'm like, I can't wait to go. I literally can't wait to go. I'm like so excited. Oh my God, I cannot wait. There's so many things that I'm going to be accomplishing with my partnership with God, and I am just encouraging you guys to do it too. Because the same God that delivered me will deliver you too, child, as long as you believe, girl. So yeah, I love you all so much, and I'll definitely see you in the next one.